It's been a while since I did a video on MTV Braless, so Laci Green, dazzle me.
If you don't think male privilege exists, you are wrong.
I can confirm that there are some privileges that men and women hold. For example, I'm now going to use some of my male privilege to get a Sammich alumni to make another woman make me a sandwich.
Let me read the messages. Show your boobs, show your boobs, show your boobs, show your boobs. Make me a sandwich. Seriously? I might as well get over with it. Get over with this thing. Okay, let's make a freaking sandwich. There you go. Happy?
You know, credit where credit is due. Frozen Binary really came through on this one. Thank you very much, Chimera, for the boob sandwich. It is very much appreciated. Links to both their channels below, including Chimera's gaming channel. Please check them out. Now back to MTV Braless. Please tell me about male privilege.
Gender bias is often ignored because it seems invisible and subjective to those who benefit from it.
Do you mean gender biases like when a woman beats a man up in a street and nobody stops it? Do you mean gender biases where you have affirmative action for minorities and women, but you don't have the similar thing in place to get men back into college even though their numbers are lower than that of women? Do you mean gender biases where men can be prosecuted for misogyny and hate speech, but not women because they can't be misogynistic even though that would be misandry and they can't be prosecuted for being rude to men?
But trans men have experienced both sides of the gender-divided society, so I'm gonna let them explain male privilege in their own words.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess that all the men you feature in this video are men that would associate themselves under the feminist label. Perhaps those that would identify as advocates of social justice. After all, we have to make sure those promoting our MTV Braless bullshit videos are the right kind of men or women.
Male privilege is the bullshit idea that men are better than anybody else.
Personally, I never liked the idea of male privilege anyway. The idea that men had privileges others did not seemed weird to me. However, it is not a bullshit idea to think that some men are better than some other men or some women or some trans men or trans women at something. We are all better than someone at something, possibly. It's a wild guess. I'm sure there's someone somewhere that sucks at everything.
Male privilege is the ability to move about the world in the way that you want to.
You've never heard of a passport, have you?
It's the experience of being left alone and free to be yourself.
It's not a privilege to be alone, but it is a personal choice if you want to be alone. That is not exclusive to men. Women can choose this as well. There is no societal stigma or societal norm that says that women must constantly be surrounded by people.
Privilege is also like the absence of experience. As a man, I have the privilege of getting on New York City subway train at 1 in the morning and don't have to worry about a man wagging his dick at me. That is a male privilege that I like.
Sounds to me like someone has some personal experience. Allow me to share some with you. In 2007, I went to Brixton to see Paramore. On the tube, going to see them, two guys were fighting over a bottle of ale. One of them pulled his dick out. I, as a male, do not have the privilege of not seeing that dick waggled on the train. And before you say it, it is not sexual harassment. Humongous. It was not.
The first time I noticed I had male privilege was when I was walking home from hanging out with a bunch of friends who happened to be women. They had expressed being a little worried about walking home in the dark, and while I was walking, I realized that I had no worry in the world about being talked to or stared at or followed or assaulted.
You are implying that men do not get assaulted on the way home from work, or the way home from a party. This is not uncommon. Assault at night isn't exclusive to women. I'm using the word exclusive again. It's almost like you're dull, dim, thick. On the screen now are the statistics for assault at night. Notice, men get assaulted too.
So a man could just walk down the street and no one is going to bother him. No one's going to ask him to smile. No one's going to ask him where he's going. No one's going to ask him if he's married. No one's going to ask him if they can walk with him. But this is something that I know women experience every day.
No. This is something men can experience too. You are remarkably stupid. I thought you should know this. Men can be assaulted. Men can be followed. This is ridiculous. I know MTV Braless are known for picking retarded subjects. Since Laci Green fronts it, you can be certain it is not going to be very well done. But this is getting ridiculous now.
Post-transition life, my God, walking down the street is so glorious. I can actually think.
Yeah, it is rather nice to be able to think. Something which clearly none of you have done, since all you three have bleated on about is the ability to walk down the street, and indicated that that is a sole privilege that men have. Women have this privilege too, therefore it's not being a privilege anymore, just being normal. I am not now saying there are not areas where women are harassed, women are followed. But I am saying that there are areas where men are harassed, men are followed, men are propositioned, men cannot think, much like women, in certain areas. That does not mean it is a gendered privilege. It means that there are areas that need to catch up with the rest of the more developed society, the one that you supposedly claim to be progressive. Just as another piece of anecdotal evidence, much like the train dick waggle thing earlier, I have been followed by people walking home before, and I am a male. I have been attacked in the street at night while walking home, and I am male. I promise you, if you're in the wrong area, people, or you're near very aggressive drunks, they're going to attack you.
First time I ever experienced male privilege was on social media. I've always been the type to express myself and talk real crazy. And when I did it prior to transitioning, it wasn't okay. But the minute that I transitioned and everybody looked at me as that male figure, it was like, oh man, that's hilarious. I'm like, hey guy, I've been hilarious all this time. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, again, this is not something that is unique to men as a privilege. I know guys who I once considered to be rather sane and rational who have recently gone off the rails because people have criticized their faith. Male or female, if you lose your temper, your cool online, on social media, some people will undoubtedly pounce on it regardless of gender. Again though, this is not a privilege.
An unexpected aspect of male privilege for me was being taken way more seriously than I was before, and it's funny because I have all the same ideas, still thinking about the same things, and yet sometimes I would literally just be talked over or laughed at. Now people will often quiet down.
The thing with assertiveness, it is not so much a physical presence, it is also how you project your voice. Based on how your voice comes across in this video, I don't find it hard to believe pre or post transition that you were spoken over. This is also not a male privilege. There are classes that will train anyone to be assertive, commanding, to have that presence, to be able to control or dictate a conversation, or to be able to contribute by simply being more confident. Perhaps your assertiveness, that I don't believe is present in this video itself, is more present because of how you feel as a man. This doesn't make it a privilege, it means you perceive it as a privilege.
And having experienced that from both sides of the spectrum, as female and male, I call bullshit on that right now.
All this does is tell me that when you were a girl, you were raised to believe you should be afraid. And that is the kind of feminist nonsense, social justice rhetoric that means people are going to be scared. They're going to believe this privilege bullcrap. I won't deny there are privileges, some that men have and some that women have. What I am, however, refuting is that the ones you have identified so far are male privileges alone. No. If it exists the way you tell us it exists, then it is a fantastic gift for us men.
Male privilege and sexism isn't just a problem for women, but it's also about liberating ourselves. Masculinity is very diverse. Masculinity is what it is to you. You don't have to be a brute. You don't have to be an athlete. And my masculinity looks like a man who likes puppies and babies. And there's nothing wrong with that.
You make a good point. Masculinity is very diverse, and there's nothing wrong with liking puppies or babies. There really isn't. What is a problem is that those who are brutes, those who are jocks, those who are alpha males, are those that are frequently ostracized, vilified, abused by those that are deemed progressive, those who advocate for social justice, because they believe these are the bad elements of masculinity, which is in itself wrong. As you mentioned, masculinity is diverse.
I was in the club this night and my brothers are around. I think it might have been Single Ladies. Something came on. And I'm like, oh, the Single Ladies, oh, the Single. And they go, you're a man now. Men don't wild out to Beyonce like that. And I said, but it's music.
How does men not wanting to dance in a club to Beyonce make it a problem for male privilege? I am genuinely curious because I know lots of guys who don't want to dance or feel uncomfortable dancing in the first place. That doesn't mean it's something derived from male privilege or masculinity. It just means they themselves have made the personal choice not to dance. I personally go to a club, I get wrecked, and I will be dancing like Chandler Bing. I'm not kidding. It's embarrassing and hilarious.
There's no one way to be a man. There's a spectrum of masculinity, and just like, be chill.
Okay. I don't know, stop talking shit about it, and maybe, I don't know, raise some of the issues about female privilege that are quite blatantly unfair.
If a guy wants to really understand male privilege and understand what it is, talk to women.
And if men want to really understand female privilege, they should also talk to women, because only a woman can truly understand what it is like to be both a woman and a man. In all seriousness though, I can understand some people being able to see perspective, but if you are honest about wanting to understand male privilege as you see it in your echo chamber, perhaps go and talk to different types of men, and ask some of those other men what it's like to lose your home in an unfair divorce settlement. Ask them what it's like to never be able to see their kids because custody battles are an absolute nightmare. Ask them what it's like to know there are no hostels for men, what it's like to not have support groups for men of domestic violence, of rape, why there are no rape laws in place that would help men prosecute women.
Step back, listen to what other people are going through, ask them what they're going through, and I think you'll see that the world doesn't run exactly the way you think it does.
I think somebody should take their own advice and do that, because I have a strange feeling inside that rather echoey chamber you live in, you haven't seen the true world. You've only seen a small slither of it through your narrative lens. The same one that perpetuates rape culture, pay gap, and the patriarchy. The same one that will tell you that you are at all times oppressed and the one true oppressor is the straight white man.
You're doing nothing wrong by having privilege. It's just what you do with it that matters.
Well, you used yours to push an agenda that is clearly biased and insulting to everyone. Congratulations for being a part of this magnificent piece of trash.
I'd like to thank all of our guests for giving their time and thoughts on this issue. We'll see you next time.
I have a question for you, Laci, before we finish this video. Will you ever do a truly honest video with a wide variety of people within the trans community, and not those that solely subscribe to what you believe? Thank you all for listening.
A friend. Oh my god. Oh my god. How do I see this?